All right, we are live. Um, I am gonna give a couple moments before we actually get started. I want to give a couple of people a opportunity to get in. But this is they were ready over on IG. We are in episode 4. I said episode 3 today because I thought that's what we had. But in episode 4, we are talking about relationship norms, and it's gonna be centered around communication. So today will definitely be some interesting conversations because it's time for us to discuss why is it that we're having difficult times in connecting single men and women, or even like in people in relationships, because it is not just applicable to people who are single. It happens in married relationships too, where we don't communicate as well as we should. So we are in happily married, happily single. Which one are you? And this is our fourth episode. I'm getting ready to share really quickly on Facebook and let some more people know. But anybody who wants to get involved with the conversation, they definitely can do that. Don't forget to turn your volume down so that it doesn't give you that feedback.
Yep.
All right, so we
It's
are
been that
even.
long since we've been on.
Huh?
It's been that long since we've been on.
It has been that long since we've been on. We have been we had stuff to do.
We did
Life was
though.
life,
We
and
did.
then we have, while I do enjoy and I appreciate us doing this particular project, we have other stuff that we have to do. Hey Daria, I see you.
The
Um,
people happening like that. You heard me.
yeah, I
So,
mean,
well, look. How have you been otherwise? You've been good. I know everybody kind of know what you've been doing. I've been chilling, but you've been good otherwise, though.
I have been really this week I'm going through some extra things trying to adjust to
Mm-hmm.
a different family dynamic. My son is all moved in LSU, and I'm excited for him
Mm-hmm.
that he's
Right.
there, but I'm also he's there, not here. Yeah,
Whew.
he's there, not here. So I mean, it's an adjustment, but it's not bad. It's not bad. As long as he responds to my text messages or phone calls, I'll be fine. Let him not do that, then I
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I don't have any guarantees.
I got
So
you. Well, my little mom is in the May 6th and
yeah.
started first grade, so big transitions in the world today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. I like to ask that. You know why? Because that's an example of communication, right?
Yes.
Um, I want everybody to know. So once again, we really have to remind ourselves to have conversations. So really, what we follow at this point is that we just want to have conversations and allow people to say, hey, what do we got? At some point, we're probably going to do that viewer thing, engage viewers more directly. But the reality for me is that um, we're building every week. This is intentional. None of this is by mistake. It ain't just happenstance. And so last time we talked, we asked folks, what are, some of those things that made them feel it was it. And remember, we had the sex was the best I ever had. Listen to me, folks.
Yo, that was wild.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah,
really? We get in relationships for that
yeah,
reason?
yeah. People listen to me. I thought that was dope. And so when we get to this part, and we're talking about norms, one of the realities is that we derive our norms from our experiences,
Yes.
right? So just like you said with your son and being in college, the reality is that he should know that like you want him to be able to talk to
Uh-huh.
you,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and have conversation with you and be normal, right?
Yes.
And that at no point in time should he feel that he can't take part. My
Right.
bad. And
I mean,
so
life gonna be life and regardless.
right. And so when you think about it, he is learning a norm and you're starting something with him that will carry over into other relationships, right?
Mm-hmm.
and we talk about communication.
Right.
And so that is huge. So when we talk about norms, Kimber, what what does norms mean for you? What is a norm?
So, a lot of our dating norms have like crossed over into our relationship norms. So, for the most part, we go through our days pretty independently, right? But at some point, check in on me, because I mean, if you watch what I do like throughout my life on social media, you don't see us together a lot.
Hmm.
So since we're not together a lot, you don't know if I'm okay. You don't know what state of mind I'm in. Check on me. Check and see if I'm okay. Um, and that has looked different over time. Another thing is, how did your day go? Like a temperature check, just like you do with your children when they come home from school. You check in with them to see, what things transpired throughout the day. I need to know how you are navigating your day and your time. The other thing is, what's going on with you?
Hmm.
Because if I know what's going on with you, that allows me to maybe adjust my demands. It may allow me to adjust my tone and how I'm speaking to you.
Hmm.
It sets the bar on how intentional you are going to be engaging with each other.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
So
that's
so so the
you.
two things I hear in that, right, and I'm gonna be real, Dr. Turner is right. Intentionality and authenticity, right?
Yeah.
So like there has to be a level of I meant to do that,
Mm-hmm.
and I know why I meant to do that,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's not just I'm just checking in, it's that my checking in is going to allow us to stay connected,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't have to wait till at the end of the day for me to find out that you had an accident in the morning or that you have any other issues going on that
You
I need to
shady,
be aware
yeah.
of, right?
You shady, shady, shady.
Right?
Oh, I can't stand you. I
so
can't stand you.
so
Anyway,
so what happens then is we stay connected, right? And there's nothing that has to happen that I'm surprised by, right?
uh-huh.
There's no shock and awe, right?
Right.
It's the ability for me to say, if I have to leave work right now, or if you can't get the kids, or if you're unable to do something that I know you normally do, I can jump in and support. So when
Yeah.
we talk norms, what we're really talking about is creating some automaticity in our lives, right? Now, I know as a man, I don't know as a woman, but as a man, a lot of times I've been told stuff like, you're supposed to read my mind, you got to predict what I want. And I've even been told sometimes, oh, well, the thing that gets me now, men should know in 6 months that they want to marry you.
Now what now?
And I was like, but they say women smarter than men. So when does a woman know?
So I think we should talk about that a little bit because dating and considering marriage looks different, I think, in the age that we are. And 6 months,
Hmm.
that's what? Um, but then also, okay, so my rule was as a young woman, you got 2 years to figure out what you want to do with me.
Hmm.
After
Hmm.
2 years, if you don't know what to do with me, that's okay. I know what to do with me. Um,
Okay.
so I feel like you had enough time to see the facade of people's personalities fall off in a 2 year
Hmm.
period. In a 2 year
Hmm.
period, you've seen them go high, you've seen them go low, you've
Right.
seen
Right.
them go through some struggles, you might have seen them see some loss, and you see how they process those situations. However, um 6 months, you still getting a representative. And I don't care what it is that you are navigating, like you are going to get the representative from that person.
Right.
Yes. Six
And so
months,
think
that's
about it,
a
right?
stretch.
Think about it, right? Yes, you can skate, but get your skates. So if you think about it, right, what also plays into this ideal is that it actually um, creates an imbalance, right?
Uh-huh.
And that feeds into some of the norms that people will adopt. That men are supposed to do this, women are supposed to do this. This person has to have this role. This person has to have that role, right? So for
Mm-hmm.
me, like the homeboy Joe's at 6 months, yes, there are people who say stuff like a man should know if he wants to marry you or be with you forever and ever and ever in 6 months. It's like, well, I don't even know if I like some tennis shoes after 6 months, right? Sometimes
Right.
I'd be like, I might still take them back. I don't know if I really like them, right? So when it comes down to like a life partner, a relationship, it takes a little while, right?
Yeah.
Now, and when we say norms, right? Think about it, intentional and authentic, and some ideal of like, what do I really want? So now we have to ask ourselves, when it comes down to it, how do I know what I want?
Ah, now that part, you gotta have a list. And in that
I can't
list,
just make it up as I go.
say again?
I can't just make it up as I go.
No,
Why not?
that don't work.
I mean, that's some people's norms. They just make it up as they go.
It doesn't work. I mean, I wish it did work. I mean, so think about this. Anything that you have had success for in life, have you been able to walk into it and by happenstance it works?
Of course not.
So then why would that apply to relationships?
I mean, I know this. This ain't for
Right, but
me.
I'm saying like, yeah,
That's
and
why
I,
I'm
I think
happily
that
single.
people think that that is going to work like that, that it's going to apply that way. So
Hmm.
for instance, um we have post bachelor degrees, right? That required planning. That required some intent. That required a lot of intention on whether or not you were going to complete it.
Hmm.
In terms of parenting, there are mile markers for your kid or kids that you expect them to meet. That does not happen happenstance. It requires not only an identification of what it is that you want to happen, but also it requires that you are consistent in making sure it goes in that direction. So the same thing with romantic relationships or even friendships. If you don't have that communication with people, it's not going to happen that way.
Hmm. So when so once again, and I like what you said because that's the whole point about you don't have norms without a couple different things. And when we get to the poll, I'm a little disappointed with our viewers. They didn't go as hard in the polls this week,
I
so we're gonna
kind
have
of felt like it was going to be like that because it was open ended.
so then that actually supports our premise that if people are not articulating their ideas, that might be a part of the struggle, right?
Absolutely. I really
So
do think
so
that is
so
what
we,
it is, that people do not communicate what it is they really want. But that also
hmm
has to do with trust
hmm
and distrust
hmm
um, for their soft parts and giving them to other people.
yeah, yeah. So how do we get to trust? And so that's what I was gonna say. There's some things that people talk about it, and this is the reality, whether you're a man or woman, same gender loving or not. Consistency.
But you don't just go around telling everybody your stuff.
Well, yeah, that's why consistency is gonna matter, right? So if I meet you and we begin to engage, and we don't have to go on a date every Friday, but consistency should be, as you alluded to, like those touch points, those access points, right?
Yeah.
When do we talk? How often do we talk? When we have conversations, is it, hey, you gonna come over tonight and you spend the night, or is it, tell me what you think about the current political climate, or what do you think about what's going on in terms of the environment? Like having conversations that will allow you to really delve into, or as you said, get past the representative.
Um, I said to you before that women are dating men's wallets and men are dating women's bodies.
Uh-huh.
So something is to be said about getting past that. And are you looking to get past that, or is that all you are seeking?
Right.
Because people have to be honest. Like, what is it that you want? Like, be honest about that. Because there's several different relationship dynamics that are available to you. If you're looking for a sponsor, whether you're a man or a woman, and I think the language is different when we talk about men and women. If you're looking for a sugar daddy or sugar mama, say that. But oftentimes you don't communicate that because you don't want to appear to be what it is that you are. If you're looking for an arm piece, say that. But oftentimes, again, people don't want to communicate that because we go into relationships or even communication appearing to desire what is considered normal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
So ironically, as you say that, I think that's the other piece about what we're about to get into in terms of norms is the fact that sometimes people don't even explore why they do what they do.
yeah.
Right. So yes, if we're conditioning, socializing, training, and like articulating and like telling our young men and women, our young people that, well, this is why you get into a relationship because you need a financial roommate, right? Or you need an intimacy roommate, right?
Uh-huh.
If you're not going to be real about what you're looking for, because I think this is reality too. Sometimes you tell a person what you want, they might go along with it because they might get what they need too.
Correct.
But but if but if I give you what you want and I get what I want, I might also want somebody else.
Correct.
Now,
And I think that should be communicated though.
Uh-huh.
I think that should definitely be communicated, but we don't communicate that, or people don't communicate that basically because I want you to do what it is I like that you do, and I don't want you to stop that because you are displeased that I want to add something else to what we have going on already.
So as a happily single person, right? As a happily single person, one of the things I think about when you say that is the fact that if I'm having a conversation with someone, right, and I tell them exactly how I feel and what I want, why then do they not take what I say and what I've articulated to heart?
I think you're getting some feedback from your microphone.
That's like beeping. That was like beeping.
It was. I think it was feedback. All right. So
So why? And look, you can flip it, right? You can flip it. If a woman, and I'm being heterocentric, right? But if a woman says,
right.
for a husband, I want to get married, why do men not say, well, look, I'm not looking for that, I'm going to step away? Why do men or
Because
women?
there's something happening in that relationship dynamic that they like and they don't want to lose it. That's why do people lie? Why do people lie? I like what is happening right now and I don't want to disrupt that. Even if the cost or the risk is to be dishonest about it. I mean, we learned that as kids. If I tell my mom that I did XYZ and I know my mom didn't want me to do XYZ, she's gonna be upset with me. And she may take some things that I do like from me. So
but I was taught differently. I was taught just ask for what you want and either you can get it or you don't, or you have to figure out a way to make it happen. But I was never taught to lie. I'm not saying I never lied, but I was not taught to lie. I lied in moments and instances where I thought the lie was better.
Well, again, I don't feel like anybody is specifically taught to lie. I do feel as if
I know some liars that they just lie to lie.
Oh yeah, but I'm saying I don't know that they're taught to lie. My thing is that they have seen the experience of telling certain truth and they don't like that reaction, so then they lie to not get that reaction. It's avoidance.
I like that. So then that becomes the norm, right? Is that they become quickly adaptive to understanding when when they have certain norms, right? It's like certain people I can tell my truth to, and I know that they'll be okay. And there's other people I need to lie to. So let's go full circle, right? That's why, as you said, that representative, because people have learned I have to give you my representative until I figure out whether or not I can tell you my truth. Yeah.
Yeah, because nobody walks around giving you their soft parts. It just doesn't happen.
Or other private parts either. So.
Well, no, people are a little more generous in those than they are with the truths.
So you telling me people give out their private parts before they give out their soft parts?
Hmm.
Mm. I agree with you. I'm just saying it. So look, you
Yeah,
said
you know.
you so look, let's go ahead with that because you said this when we first started talking about norms. You asked the question, how do people arrive at the doorstep of relationships, right?
Hmm.
And we were talking, and I said, that's right. So what do they bring? Like what are they carrying, right? So talk about that a little bit, right? What does that mean when we're talking about norms and how people arrive at relationships? So tell the people what you mean by that.
About what a norm is, or like what norms are. So, okay,
What norms that people arrive with in terms of how it affects relationships?
yes, okay. So your interaction, you've had relationships with multiple different people before you even get to relationship um interactions, right? Your first relationship is with your mother and your father, or your parental figures. You learn how to relate with them, and if you have siblings, you learn how to relate with them. Then you have your cousins, school friends, and so on and so forth, right? And their experiences that you arrive with. If you're someone who does not like to argue, you learn how to shrink yourself because that's not something that you want to do. If you are somebody who is who does like to argue, you learn how to assert yourself to arrive at a certain space for yourself. Um, we start learning the things that we don't like very early, and so as we continue on with relationships, we continue along with creating spaces with people who give us the things that we do like. But then when we get into romantic relationships, because of stress, because of loneliness, because of our self-worth that we have arrived in or arrived at, we start making trades with ourselves. We'll accept poor behavior from certain people if they do these certain things that we like. And that's in friendships, that is in that's at work.
Hmm.
We allow people to abuse us a little less than we abuse ourselves.
So when I hear you say that, when we go back to that, right? I remember the thing that I've been said, I've been told, I will say, we teach people how to treat us.
Absolutely.
But here's the other kicker. We let other people teach us how to treat ourselves, right?
Yeah.
So if I've given someone high value in my life and they treat me in a way that is displeasing, I may I may adopt the thought that it's okay for certain people to mistreat me.
Mm-hmm.
That's a norm.
especially
That's
especially
how
if they especially if they provide a feeling that is desirable for us. Absolutely.
if they provide support, i.e., material, i.e., financial, i.e., housing, i.e., status. So,
Sex.
so the point for the day when we talk about norms is for people to begin to examine, as you said, how do you arrive at the relationship? And if you arrive at the relationship with some norms that are unhealthy, you got to check that. You got to check
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
right?
But
So,
how do you know that it's unhealthy if you've seen that as patterns?
okay, oh, perfect. Thank you for asking. Now, I'm sorry. It ain't that hard to know when something don't feel good. We as human beings have a natural ability to determine when something doesn't feel good. I don't know about nobody else, but the first time you try to smoke, what does your body do?
Cough.
The first time you take a drink of liquor, what does your body do?
It burns.
And then you get a hangover, right?
That's if you overindulge. Yeah.
The first time you try to run a mile, if you ain't never ran before, what does your body tell you?
Yeah. You are like, what is going on? Absolutely.
Right. So there's a natural, yes, Asia, there's a thing that happens, and that's a part of that norming process that you talked about, Kim, is that people will ignore the very feeling that this don't feel right, and they'll force themselves because, as you said this, somehow, some way, they've determined that the potential value of the outcome of this engagement is more than or better than what the opposite of, right? To me, that is a part of the unhealthy norms that people adopt going into relationships, right? So when I ask the question, why is it that if I tell you exactly what I want, and you know that's not what you want, you don't just say, "Hey, look, B, I appreciate it, but what you want, I'm not okay with," right? Because we've decided, well, no, Brian has something or Kimber has something that I really, really want.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to force myself, i.e., that cigarette, that alcohol, and I shouldn't say exercise because exercise is a really good thing, and we should all be exercising and taking better care of our physical health, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it means you have to, but I do use it because what that means is sometimes you have to condition yourself to do the things that you say you want to do, good or bad. If you want to be healthy, you got to go to the gym.
Or you
You got
have to
to
find a way to achieve that because I hate the gym.
Well, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. You got to walk or you got to eat better, right? But either
Yeah.
way it goes, this is the point for everybody. Listen, the point is to get what you want, you have to condition yourself. You have to become consistent. You have to create a norm. So if you smoke cigarettes, the more you smoke cigarettes, the less your body's going to reject it. Just like with exercise, the more you do it, the less your body's going to reject it, and the more your body
Mm-hmm.
will accept it, right? So your body
Mm-hmm.
automatically wants to get up in the morning to go to the gym per se. Or when you start walking, the more you walk, the longer it takes for your body to sweat. The longer it takes for you to work up your heart rate to get up, right? So you
Yeah.
find that you're able to walk farther, you find that you're able to do more. The same thing in relationships. And to the point, Kimball, I love that we went here and what's going to happen next after this, they're going to be ready for, right? Is that
Right.
that's a part of what happens in relationships. You have to practice the healthy stuff and you have to practice not wanting the unhealthy stuff. I don't know
So
what else to say.
I hear what you're saying, and then I also have a challenge for what you're saying, right?
Come on.
The things that we are presented with as women, and the things that we are presented are the things that I hear that boys or young men are presented with. They look different.
Uh-huh.
They look a lot different. Um, Boys are told to conquer and to conquer
Yep.
as much as they possibly can.
Yeah.
Girls are told to do what you can in order to get into relationship, i.e. means take stuff off of people that you would not take care of, take from your girlfriends, but that you allow from your partner.
Uh-huh.
And it's forced, it's pushed. Oh girl, that's just a man. Oh, a man's gonna be a man. And that's something that I have consistently rejected my entire life, which
Uh-huh.
you know, somebody told me yesterday, Kimber, you a dude, which I'm okay with that. But is it mainly because I am requiring the same respect that you or the same navigation that you are expected to have? Because, you stepping out, me too. You are treating me well, you're going to get that too. But
Mm-hmm.
that is not on a whole, especially to women. It's not presented the same way.
Uh-huh.
So when we say we teach people how to treat us, we are given a playbook that we need to follow. I don't. I'm assuming that you all y'all get a playbook, but it's not the same.
Oh, look, I think what's crazy is that what you just said is the very point of why we brought up the idea of norms, right? So
Mm-hmm.
where do norms come from? Norms come up from our families, right?
Yep.
Like you said, it's our cousins, right? It's from church, it's from movies, right? So that's why what I'm saying is I want people to examine where they pick up what they feel their norms are, right? So why do we as men per se feel like we should be conquerors all the time, right? Why do women feel like they can't be um as aware of their own sexuality or sexual desires as men are seemingly okay, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because yes, we're conditioned and we're given that as a part of who we're supposed to be. But if you examine where that comes from, it's interesting to think that as a man, I'm supposed to want to be intimate with women, but women are not supposed to want to be intimate with me. But somehow, some way, and I've read this, the research says it, that somehow women are told that by the time they get married, they're supposed to be the consummate mother whore, right? They should never have had sex, but they should know how to do everything a man desires. So why is that? Why do we think that that's the norm, right? And then if we're going to say that men can go out and be conquerors and um as engaged as they want in their sexual desires and fulfilling their sexual needs, then why can't women do that? We're not talking numbers or body count, but why can't a woman, or why shouldn't a woman be just as willing to find a partner that have a loving, caring, intimate, fulfilling sexual relationship? It's because, like you said, we accept certain norms, but then we don't examine them. I mean, I think a healthy examination of our norms, our beliefs, our values pretty regularly is probably a good thing. I think about it as having my own state of the Brian Turner address once a year. I call all of the constituents together in my living room and I present a report on what we've done well, what we need to work on, where we're strong, where we have some work to do, and where we're going forward. And I rally the troops, and then we go out and we marshal up a good effort for the next year.
But you sound like you're talking about self-awareness again. Self-awareness and the ability to be honest with oneself,
Mhm.
which many times many of us are
Yeah.
not. Many of us are not. So I'm glad you brought up about the conversation about like why isn't it okay for a woman to know um about her sexuality?
Uh huh.
Why is that not okay? Because to be honest, if your first experience is with your husband, you don't know what you don't know what you like. You are basically
Mm.
being told what you
Mm.
like. Okay.
Mm.
Because there's definitely not been any conversation about self-exploration because you are waiting to be deflowered. You know what I'm saying? By someone else, not by yourself. So,
You saying you don't want no buyer's remorse?
well, that's another conversation. We're not ready for that one yet. But yes, you know what I'm saying? If you, how do you know that something is a good situation if that's all you have to compare to it? Which I think is part of I think that is a part of why women are not supposed to have sex before they get married. However, what's been told to men is you go out and taste the rainbow.
Mm-hmm.
So then you have all of this expert knowledge of what it is that you like, and you want to do this, and you want to do that, and you want to do all of those different things. And I'm going like, you want me to do what? You want me to put
Mm.
what where? How does that go? I there wasn't I don't have the user manual or the playbook, so I need help with that.
So as you say that though, right? If we're honest, that's why the exploration of your norms as we're talking becomes important. Maybe your norms ain't normal.
Well, no, I'm not gonna say that. Maybe your norms are normal to you, and you need to present, like, you need to have those conversations with, because saying that will work with you and somebody else doesn't mean it's going to work with me and somebody else. So this is case in point, right? We both like tacos, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, on your tacos, you like your basic meat, you like your lettuce, you like your tomatoes, you like your salsa pico. I might like sour cream. You might not like sour cream, right? And you see me putting dousing sour cream on my taco, and you like. So this is where the conversation starts. Hey, what is that? What are you doing? Ugh. Hey, try it out. Oh, I've tried it out and I don't like it. Okay, so what you're saying is that you don't like this, but this is something that I like. So I'm not gonna force what I like on you, but this is something that I enjoy. So I'm gonna enjoy my tacos with my sour cream, and then I'm gonna make sure that you have your tacos without it. Simple, easy conversation.
Let me back on Instagram. That's what I need to do.
All right.
Um, but look, you said something, right?
Uh-huh.
But what's vitally important is not so much that we have our tacos the same way, is that at least we have a conversation about the tacos and what we like, so that I at least know that you like something different on your taco and I like something different. That's the normal piece, right? Now, when
Right.
I say maybe your norms ain't normal, this is stuff like I've had somebody say, they were told that if they put a aspirin between their knees, they won't get pregnant. Like, yeah. And I'm like, did you not think about what they was trying to say? Or you get pregnant from kissing. See, that's
So
what I
then
mean when
that leaves the conversation of, hey, so somebody gave you some misinformation, and I don't want to be combative because I understand where whoever you got that information from, you trust this person. But hey, let's go look at XYZ because that's actually not accurate. And how you approach that makes a difference on whether or not somebody's going to receive that from you, because we've gotten all kind of explanations and information from people that we love and care about, you know what I'm saying, because parents, Santa Claus, okay, Easter Bunny, right?
wait, wait, but perfect. That wait, hold on. That's the point, though. We can accept things like Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, the fairy, the Tooth Fairy, because those things are within our normal belief system, right? But when we talk about relationships, saying stuff like men should know that they want to marry you in 6 months, that's not normal, right? Saying to someone, well, um, the man should be the provider and pay for everything all the time because that's what men do. That's not normal. Like, you may expect that, you may want that, but what's normal, and this is data driven, most households today are dual incomes. No one person pays for everything in most relationships. That's when I say we got to check our norms, because they may not be normal, not meaning they're like from aliens, but that, like what you just said, you may have erroneous information that's driving your actions, your beliefs, what you do, and then you find a great person, and because you got some jacked up norms, that person don't think you normal, so they move on.
And again, I'm not going to say that these I'm not gonna call the people abnormal or their ideas abnormal. They don't align with the person that you may have interest in. Let me say that.
All right,
All right.
I'll rock with that. I'll rock with that. I'll
All
come
right.
back.
So when you come across someone who has ideas that differ from yours, you get to that point there. What do you do from here? Do you toss everything and throw it away, or do you have the conversations about where you have your different ideas? What do you do?
So when you talked about sour cream, right? So what if I say to you, well, actually, I'm gonna use real life, real experience examples, right? When I was working in Florida and I do diversity presentations and programming, right? For this program I do, I give the first couple of minutes It's called I call it stereotype threat, right? Meaning what stereotypes threaten our cross culture interactions. The one that still sticks with me is the one where students that were in this presentation that were white told me that black people don't eat mayonnaise or anything white, right? And so when you brought up the sour cream, it reminded me. I was like, where'd y'all get that from? And so apparently, I forgot about this, but there was a line in Undercover Brother about mayonnaise, right? But the other thing was that they started to also ascribe other values to it. Well, black people don't like white people, so they don't want to eat mayonnaise or anything white, right? And I was like, dang, these boys ain't never seen brothers go in on some chicken wings or some some like ranch dressing, like where'd they get that from, right?
Right.
So the point being is that like sometimes we pick up these beliefs, i.e., norms, and they have no real basis in reality, right? So if
Yes.
I believe in or think in things and they're not in real like stuff and they're not based in real stuff, I'm going to act in ways that what are problematic. And I can't even articulate why. I can't even say to you, well, the reason why I act like this is because I saw this on Undercover Brother, because that might be in my subconscious and I don't even know how to pull it out. I just somewhere, somehow in my life, one of my cousins said that um I'm supposed to meet a girl and try to hurry up and have sex with her. And if she let me have sex fast, that means she'll host, so I should want to be with her. But I won't hurry up and have sex with you fast.
But
Right?
if she a hoe, what are you?
I'm a whoremonger.
You easy. You
So
easy. All right.
so
I'm gonna shut this Instagram one because it's giving a whole lot of feedback. I don't know if it's where it's placed or whatever. All right, guys, hop on to the Facebook live or over to the YouTube live because it's giving way too much feedback and it's starting to interfere with the other feed. So thanks for joining us on Instagram. We'll see y'all on Facebook or on YouTube.
Dr.
A
J said a
homemaker.
homemaker. That is funny. Oh Lord.
I love
Come
it.
over to Facebook. Come over to
I
Facebook.
love
Yeah.
it. I love it. I love it. So
Right.
absolutely, like it makes you a homemaker. Well, it doesn't make you a homemaker. It makes you a hoe. I mean, it makes you easy. I told you this before that I had a conversation with somebody who was offering uh their phallus, like you should experience this. And it was like, you easy. I don't want that. No, thank you. I mean, it had nothing to do with the fact that I am married because oftentimes people throw up because I'm married or because I'm in a relationship. That's not why I don't want to be intimate with you. But relationship aside, you easy. I don't want that. And so for
Well,
the guy who's saying that the woman is easy, um, I mean, what does that make you, baby? What does
well,
that make you?
isn't that exactly the point about why, if we're going to be honest about norms, what that actually plays into, right? Because that means that now I'm sitting here and I'm trying to figure out, well, if I want to hurry up and be sexual with you, well, when I go back to the homies, they're going to say I'm good and great, right? Still playing with the norms, right?
Mm-hmm.
And take it for what it is that we're really getting at, right? Is that what we really want people to think about is how do you become, and our joking title is happily married, happily single, is that we should be able to say, look, if I'm gonna be married, these are my real norms, right? And
Mm-hmm.
actually, one of the things I love to tell people, especially my friends, it's okay to say, I don't know.
Right, 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 right.
Like I have to trust that you're going to usher me through this phase of whatever it is we're going through. And if you don't get me where I want to go, then I can walk away, right? So to your point, if I've never eaten sour cream before and I see you eat it, and if I trust you, then I should say, well, okay, I saw Kimber eat it. You know what? I'm at least try it, right? I trust Kimber, right? Now, once I try it, if I determine it's not for me, I should be able to say to Kimber, hey, Kimber, I'm glad you like it, but that's not for me. So I can't do this anymore, right? Or that's not for me, right? But go back to what we said earlier. Some people might try that sour cream and not like it, but because Kimba paid the bill for it, they're gonna keep eating sour cream and not liking it. And like I said, they may become resentful of you, and now that becomes the norm. Kimba is somehow making me do something I don't want to do. When in reality, I never said, "Hey, Kimba, I'm not really enjoying this. Is it okay if I don't do this anymore?"
And so if you don't say that though, then I don't know that you don't like that. If you never
Right.
express that to me, I can't. I'll keep giving that to you, because it's like you never said I don't like that. And so that goes with everything else. You have to communicate what you don't like as well to the person, because then what ultimately ends up happening is you keep riding around or keep going forward with that. And after you keep going forward with that, you turn around and the first argument, you hurt me because you kept doing XYZ. And then that person is like, I didn't know that was a thing. So had I known that was a thing, I wouldn't have kept doing that to you.
Right. Why
So
you didn't
we
tell
have
me
to
that?
we have to
Go
take
ahead.
personal responsibility, and we have to make sure that we are that we're taking personal responsibility for ourselves, and we're also teaching people how to treat us. Because if we don't, they're gonna do, oh, this looks like this is normal, this looks like this is something that is accepted, and now we're gonna keep going forward with that.
Yeah. So look, we just hit the three pollsters. I wish I knew who they were because there were so few. We should take them to lunch or dinner or give them something nice. But the three things that our pollster said was: one, their norm is that they might pick up the tab because I don't want them to think I want something after, that they're going to give up something after, right? That's an interesting norm. And I'm gonna make an assumption that I'm not gonna make an assumption. I'm just going to say whoever this person is has probably been made to understand that they don't want to and will not allow whoever it is they're dating or on a date with to pay the tab, because they don't want to be thought of as, I got to go home and put out. I got to give up something now, right? That's an interesting norm, because that's the quid pro quo tit for tat norm, right? The second
do unto others. So do unto others. So if I have taken men out on dates. I've treated men to meals. That is not my idea of thinking, but we have definitely been conditioned. There's the date menu and there's the fucking side of the menu as well. You know what I'm saying? Because once you hit a certain price point, that has been programmed to us. Do I think that is normal? No, I don't think that's normal. I think it's very odd, but it does happen. It does exist.
Yeah. Well, and it also speaks to the potential, it speaks to what we can assume the person's experiences have been, is that all too often they found themselves in situations where the norm was, if I pay, you play.
But that also is a very that's a very good view or look at how relationships are working right now. I said that women date men's wallets and men are dating women's bodies. The bodies, the whole relationships or relating has become very transactional. If you do this, I'll do that.
I mean, clearly we're building folks up to the point to be where they can talk about breaking these cycles, right? So the second person, which I think this is kind of low-hanging fruit for anybody, but the person stated the other person should have a welcoming personality, be well-groomed, be able to speak and articulate their thoughts, right? So what I think about with that is like that's easy, right? Like that's dope, because you should too, right? But the only problem with that is when the snake know the game too, he know not to slither on his stomach. He knows to get up and walk, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So he knows, well, I can't show myself as a snake now.
Right.
So I like this norm, but it also speaks to the fact that that sometimes we may have to think a little bit deeper into our norms of what we expect. But I like the welcoming personality, right? Because that speaks to potential like practice and conditioning, socialization. You know, we say all the time people are weird, but we also expect that people are going to be weird. So when we meet people when they're weird, we're not surprised, right?
Yeah, I guess my thought about this, like, those are very general things or general ideas about like what you want somebody to present you with, right? Um, I want you to not look homeless, okay? And then there are other attributes that are specific that I prefer. Um, I want you to be able to be maintaining your own life,
Yep.
i.e., not living at your mama's house or your daddy's house, whomever. Um, so that I know that you're a standalone person, and if we're joining, we're coming together as two people who are ready to start testing the waters with each other.
Uh-huh.
Um, I want that. I want I want to know that other people are not considering that they are in relationship with you.
Uh-huh.
Because, hey, are you single? Yes, I'm single. Is there anyone else who thinks they're in a relationship with you?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Or is
and
there
of
someone
course
who
you
thinks
can
they're not
lie.
single? Yeah.
Right. Of course you can lie, but that's the these. But as you telling me this is the point where you're selling me a product, and I'm that's a product that I'm buying. Now, if I find out that that product is not that, I get to walk away from it because this is what you said.
Yeah. Yeah.
But those things are more, I guess, attractive, or would encourage me or would push me toward wanting to speak and hold conversations or even continue wanting to get to know
Uh,
somebody for a romantic relationship. Now, I mean, I don't want you to be aesthetically unpleasing to me where I gotta put a bag over your head, but what I think is attractive versus somebody what they think is attractive, that's something. Those are varying things.
yeah. Yeah. So then the last one, because we're coming up on some time, I want to get this one in because I think this is probably the best one. It says the norms are being consistent, planning date nights, be a part of my visions and dreams, especially if we plan on building a life together permanently.
That's norms for dating. I think that's fair. But how do you get there? How do you get there?
So I think the first two tell us how to get there.
Planning consistent date nights.
Yeah, but I think that's the thing, right? So if we're being consistent, then it's not that you're just well groomed when we go out in public, right? Like it's that when we meet, when we do things, you take care of yourself, right? The idea of being able to speak and articulate your thoughts. Well, if you can articulate your thoughts and speak, then that made communication easy. So now we understand, we get discernment, we get comprehension, right? All those things. Um, and then the idea of like if I pick up the tab, and here's the thing: relationships are generally speaking transactional or transformative, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if we're talking about what we want, and actually the kicker is this: most of our relationships are really both,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That
Yes.
you make me a better person by what we can give and receive from each other, right? So I might
Mm-hmm.
be the only person in a relationship, so I'm able to ensure that we save money or we can at least buy the things we want, we can go on the trips we want because we've taken times to do what we need to do, right? But then you might be the ideas person who said, well, baby, look, I think we need to look for another house. And then I'm looking at this house, and you sit down and tell us how we can get to this house, right? If I have to get another job, tell me I have to do that. If I have to stop spending money at the cigar bars, tell me that, right? But at some point in time, the idea of like being transformative and transactional has to be centered to what I think we're talking about in terms of norms, and people have to accept that, right?
Yeah.
That we should be able to say to each other what we really want. That should be the norm. That we
Yeah.
should be able to talk about what we want and decide I'm for that. I'm with that. Or yeah, that ain't for me.
So we still talking about awareness.
Well, that's
We're
how
still
you get
talking about
norms,
self
though.
awareness, right?
That's how
You
you get
you
to your
really have
norms.
to you really have to be aware of um things that you're willing to do. Like you have your deal breakers and you have the things that you are looking for, and
Uh
and
huh.
and looking at those things side by side to determine if what you say is a need is actually a need, and what you say is a want is actually a want. And oftentimes we don't have people who are honest with themselves, let alone other people,
Uh huh.
to be able to decide what it is that they want.
Yeah. 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 So then take for example the fact that for what we're talking about right now, what we're putting out today as a part of happily married, happily single, which one are you? It's time for people to be honest about their norms. And as you asked the question, right? How do you arrive to the relationship? Whether it be friendship, whether it be romantic, whether it be work, you got to understand, or at least try to understand, i.e., be self aware. What have I experienced? What have I been through? How have I taught people to treat me? And how have people taught me to treat myself that can impact this next thing? Because then I can say to someone, yeah, you know what? I used to think I didn't like sour cream, but I went out and I was dating this person, and her name was Kimba, and she introduced me to sour cream, and I realized I actually really like sour cream. But the reason why I didn't like sour cream because when I was a little black boy, I watched this movie and it said black people shouldn't like white stuff, right? And so I just didn't eat it. But then I trust Kimba, and actually I kind of know Kimba better than I know
The
Undercover
people in the
Brother,
movie. Uh-huh.
right? So since I trust Kimba, I said, well, let me trust this person that's here with me in this space with me. And when I did it, I found that like it was okay. So maybe that's the point, right? Maybe the whole norms thing is like you said, um, how did you arrive here? Can you become self-aware of what it is you've experienced that can make you feel the way you feel, or think the way you think, or believe what you believe?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah.
Definitely that. I think, yeah, I think that is um that's a safe space for people that they need to consider before they start thinking that they want to be in a relationship. What is it that you really aspire to have that impacts you with who you know you are, but do you know yourself to even be able to have that conversation?
Right, right, right. So I like this, right? So I think what we come to, and I like to think about the recap for the night because I was so anticipating this conversation, right? Is that if we're honest about norms, then we have to be able to accept that we might have normalized some things that we actually don't like ourselves. So as men, right, we got to ask men to think about what norms have you accepted that you really don't agree with, that you actually
Mm-hmm.
don't even want to be a part of, but because you're a man, you may be going along with it.
Mm-hmm.
Same for women, right? What norms have women adopted that in our reality, that ain't really what you feel, right? I think about my feminist mind and thinking about how the true feminist perspective really allows for a woman to be just as much of a career woman that doesn't desire to have kids as the woman who wants to be a mother and to be at home, right, and not to be working per se, right, in terms of a corporate career. Those both represent the true understanding of femininity, a womanhood. Let me say womanhood. Actually, I'm more of a
Yeah,
woman.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But there can't be a bullet hole or a definitive explanation of what that is one way or another, because everybody does not check the boxes of what people's perceived ideas of what femininity or womanhood are.
What? No, that's the point, right? That's
Yeah.
the point. Is that like, oh wait, I don't know if you just want that or try to put a little. Nah, what I'm saying is
No, I'm
this.
putting it out there because I know myself. I don't fit what is deemed to be feminine, or I don't fit what the general consistency of what norms are.
Well, but I think that's what I think we're asking our people to do tonight, right? To
Right.
reconsider, to reevaluate, and to reestablish their norms. At the end of the day, our reality is that we may actually be practicing things that actually go against the very nature of who we are, right? So I think about it with politics, right? When I hear people say, "Oh, I don't get involved in politics," I'm like, "Okay, well, let me show you how involved in politics you are. You know when you pay your taxes, you know when you stop at that red light, you know when you pay your water bill, you know when you go to work, right? Those are all political actions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're gonna say you're not involved in politics, that's crazy because politics is all up in what you're doing,
Right.
right? But if we've created norms that that's what people say, then they're going to operate in ways that goes against the very thing that they're supposed to be doing, the very
Mm-hmm.
move of how they should be thinking. And once again, it doesn't have to happen overnight, but I think that's what we want people to do tonight: reevaluate, reexamine, and reestablish their norms so that they can actually operate in their fullness, right?
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. So I want to put that poll back out there, but like put it out with some closed ended things, maybe. Or do you I mean, do you think, I don't know. I'm leery of leaving it open ended because I mean the response I felt like it was gonna be what it was.
Well, Kimba, as the resident,
You are the
Puget
psychologist.
polling consultant, right? That was the point, right? Now we got to give people some forced choice options
Mm-hmm.
to try to determine where do they get their norms from? What are their
Right.
norms? So yeah, folks, that's what we're about to do. We're going to ask you all to take the next poll so that you can examine, so that you can explore, and then hopefully help us think about how to establish norms that actually get you where you want.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
where we're gonna leave that one. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us on Happily Married, Happily Single. Are we back next Thursday? Are you good for next Thursday?
Yeah, we can rock next Thursday. Yeah.
All right,
We back
perfect.
in.
And then we can have
Leslie.
some more.
Yeah.
We
We'll
have
get the
some more
poll up.
conversations about that.
We'll get the poll up by Monday.
And share it. Once you see it, share it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Share the poll. The poll will be up by Monday. Share the poll, take the poll, get your mind right, get your conversation tight. Once again, Kimber, you're happily married, right?
I am.
And I'm happily single, right? We know who we are. The question is, which one are you?
Are you? Yes. Which one are you? Well, thank you for joining us, everybody, and we'll see you all on next Thursday. And yeah, I look forward to seeing what outcomes we have this time around. All right, y'all have a wonderful evening. We'll see you next week.
All right.
Good night.
Peace.